Yo guys, what is up? It's Teach here, coming at you again with another Crystal Isles pre-release base locations, kind of hoping to help people out video. Now, we are an amazing base, just a field of base locations. This is, well, first and foremost, if you don't like the volcano on this map, it's a beautiful spot. I'll kind of show you it as soon as I show you this rat hole. We're going to start this video off with a really overpowered rat hole that I'm not sure they're going to even notice here. So let's go ahead and start with that. Now, if you haven't subscribed and liked, that would be amazing. It really does help me out. Thank you guys so much for that. I just can't say thank you enough. So thank you. And let's go ahead and continue. So we're already in our first spot. Rat hole right off the bat. 58.1, 61.0. And basically, I'm just going to go make sure I'm in GCM mode so that way I can actually be here. If you really wanted to, hiding near this lava is going to be pretty overpowered. I wouldn't do it because technically you hit water right here, and that could be bad for your health because I think that's going to be lava water. But that being said, if you move down just a little bit, there are two really cool base spots that I think are going to be amazing. So right next to this lava run where that kind of drops down and in, you've got a nice little rat hole right here. Now this is a super small one. But it's going to be like, explain to me how you're going to raid this outside of like, dropping down in here with a ton of bodies, 58, or I guess 57.8, 61.1. But this isn't the one that impresses me the most. This is the tiny one. Right on the other side of this, next to these crystals right here, 58.1, 61.1. Next to this lava waterfall, you can drop down underneath these crystals and have quite a bit of room. Now, if you wanted to, you could probably knock yourself out and get further down in here. I'm not going to because I think for me, this is probably plenty enough room to start a small base, at least a little base location in here. You could probably store some basic stuff, and I know that people are going to be able to figure out how to do this. I haven't been patient enough to locate how to actually build in here yet, but because it's technically hard land, you can get a cliff platy in here. So pretty good little chunk of space right here. You could at least hide down in here with a pteranodon, and that'd be something that's not a bad idea. So that's pretty cool. Now this entire volcano, I'll kind of give you a big picture of it. It's a beautiful center of the map, kind of super neat spot, for lack of a better word. It's pretty awesome. It's just absolutely littered with base spots. Now, these are pretty much, this video is basically only for small and medium-sized tribes because there's nothing that's going to be really big on this unless you're going to try and take over the top of this volcano, which you can get inside of this region here. It's really hot, but you can actually, build on this stuff, which is pretty nice, and you're technically in like the top middle of the map. So, yeah, kind of cool. I have no building restrictions on, so this is like official settings where you'd be able to build, but you can actually get a platform up in this tree. So this is about the only large base location for people to build in. Pretty hard to actually see this spot unless you're knowing it's here. So this is, outside of that, pretty much every base location that I have found has been for small and medium-sized tribes. Lots of little hidey holes, stuff like that, but that's my thing. So I think that a lot of people are gonna like throw this one off, but this is one of my favorites. Right where this goes down, you've got a natural defense right here on this side. So as long as you put up a small turret tower, you'll probably be pretty good. Notice I am on fire here, so you do have to be careful about that because I'm technically in the lava. But you can build right at the edge of this, and it would be okay. You could technically put something down on this base section. I wouldn't, but that's up to you. You can put like a little 1x1 up here if you're a small player and people aren't really going to go down and find you. But this entire region right here does have phoenix that spawn in here. So phoenixes spawn right here. I don't know if they'll allow that or keep that, but there's lots of little cracks and stuff like that. You could put an easy 1x1 structure in and probably no one would notice you ever because they'd actually have to go near the lava, and nobody wants to do that. That's kind of just how this map works. Super dangerous, but if you're a solo player, everything's super dangerous for you anyways. But just like finding like a little tiny tuckaway like that right there, that's all you need as a solo player in order to survive. So, and we're going to keep going around, and I'll show you some of these. If you go above these pillars like I'm showing you right now, there tends to be like little mesh holes, not mesh holes necessarily, but little areas you can drop down inside of. that would be really hard to see a base location, and really hard to find somebody. So these are pretty powerful little zones. I'll kind of fly around like this so you can kind of see the ones that I have found, and I've kind of like tested out just a little bit, and they've seem to work pretty well. But I mean, you can only see from straight above it, so they're pretty powerful little solo spots, for lack of a better word. And you can kind of see that it's a cool little zone. I like a lot of these because you only want, as a solo player, you're only trying to stay out of people's way. You just want to play the game for fun anyways. You don't necessarily care where you build, as long as no one finds you. And spots like these will hide you pretty well because you've got some natural coverage that no one's really ever going to hit, and you can just hide underneath it. This one right here, 58.7, 61.9, that is all metal above you. I wouldn't break it, but that's me. You could easily break the ones on the outside so people would never notice you were there. And that would kind of, cover you pretty well because you've got a removable structure above you just in case you need to get out quick. Now, this kind of lava waterfall on the side of the volcano over at 57.9, 65.0 has a ton of little rat holes that you can hide in. Now, these are like ones you are going to die in, so don't, I wouldn't really focus on building up in here. But if you can quite literally get up inside a lot of these little waterfalls, if you want to call it that, plop down a platform real quick, and then have like a base location that you can have as a temporary thing. Like, let's see if I can do it right up in there. There's a couple of spots you can go to. This is technically water, but not burning, so you can see how I teleported right there. A little bit of a glitch, 58.2, 63.5. They'll probably fix that. At least I would hope they would before they release this thing. Pretty neat little spot, though. But if you go above this, you'll see tons of little cracks and stuff you can hide in. See all these? I'm not going to show you them all because it would take me literal hours to go through each one of these. But because of that, it's going to be much easier to hide a base back into these things. So, even right here, not bad. 56.5, 63.6. And we're just, kind of going around, finding these little hidey holes, and that's just it. So, all right, let's see if we can find some more. So we're going to go down here in this little zone where the lava flows. I've seen a lot of really popular base locations on maps where you have the lava canyons because people get really hot and they don't want to be down there. Like this right here. Boom. Little rat hole. Nice little spot. Nice little spot. This actually might be one of my favorites now. Hard to see because it's down inside next to these phoenixes. Yes, you can see the phoenixes. If you were to hide, it'd be very difficult to see you around this corner, and you could easily flop down a base right here. Just like that. And boom, nice little spot. 55.5, 65.9, and this, again, I told you, I'm trying to explain this to you right now. This map has tons of small and medium-sized base locations where you can kind of just tuck away and not be seen. Now, it also has a very large amount of alpha base spots as well, so there's kind of like a nice little mix of things. Lots of lag here, so that's a good thing for you if you're a small player. You want people to not want to be near you. That's always a good thing to have. And you can see I can tuck myself away down in here, and this is right next to the mesh, so probably not going to be able to place foundation right there. Nope, didn't think I would be able to. Probably can't even place this if I wanted to, right? Oh my goodness, I can. So, obviously it gives away your spot, but if you could find a way to get your platform a little bit lower, you could knock yourself down into this, and there you go. 53.1, 65.5, and that's certainly a possibility. So we're going to keep traveling down this little lava canyon because it leads into the blood swamp and then the islands, and this is kind of like our last little mini base tour before this map releases, before everything gets official and we can actually see the real spots. I don't think they're going to remove much here. I think that they'll keep pretty much all of it, which is pretty cool. But again, we're talking about my opinions, so hold them for what you will. And over here, this is like a nice little ledge next to the base of the waterfall, or the, not waterfall, the lava falls. And you've got some cool little lakes down here. Nothing super deep, but you can easily hide like a 1x1 at the bottom of this, and people probably have a hard time finding you. No one's ever going to notice you're there. There are Spino spawns in here. And you can really, inside these crystals, reasonably speaking, hide a base pretty easily as well. right around the outside of this. And it's going to be really hard to find you if you just, hide up in this zone right here. 53.3, 62.4, technically inside the mesh when I was right there, but that's a good thing. Hard to see. These little crystals hide so much because they're so bright. It's really hard to see near these things, and you can kind of hide in and around the areas. So again, pretty good little spot to hide a 1x1 if you're building up. 53.3, 62.2, great little spots to start off. We'll keep going up the mountain here. Come on, let me go. There we go. And again, this waterfall that I was talking about, you can easily get back to that first base location right there. If we go up to the top of this thing, you can just like look down into these little areas and see all kinds of cracks and hide away in something like this, because really, again, I can't say it enough, if you're a solo player, you probably only need a little bit of space anyways, so don't bother taking up a whole bunch of it, and you'll be able to find a ton of base locations. Ooh, I'm on fire now. Yay. I'm on fire, but I'm not burning, so here we go. There you go. Right in here. Nice little spot. 56.7, 62.0. You'll probably die really quickly, but that means that no one's going to check to see if you're there. So don't forget that. And that's kind of the volcano. Lots of little tiny base spots, lots of overall land, but nothing super stellar. You've got a lot of little cracks I'm sure people will end up finding that I don't know about yet, and I'm sure people will be like, oh dude, you missed like 12. That's fine. There's so many on here. I mean, when I did this before I made the video, I probably fell down into 30, 40 different hidden locations, and I'm only showing you like 10 or 15 of them. So again, my suggestion, look at these pillars, look down, and you will end up finding a nice little hidey area. At least just a temporary one to get you started for resource grinding. Even something in like a corner like this, because it's hard to see with this fire nearby. You can hide probably inside that fire, actually, because I doubt that this is, yep, it's considered water. It's a very arc thing. And I'm out of the water, so I'm flying. But lots of little locations to hide a base. So I really encourage you, if you're a solo or a small tribe, 1 or 2 people maybe, you could easily start off in this location. Or if you really wanted to, just hide like a 1x1 here, and it's going to be very difficult to find you. Anyways, hopefully this video helps you out. And other than that, teach out.